Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Razer Huntsman V3 Pro 10 keyless 8K. We're going to unbox it, take a look at the features, check the design, the build quality and everything else. On top of that, I'm going to give you my pros, my cons, my positives and my negatives, and let's see if this keyboard really is worth the price. Just to note, this keyboard was sent out by Razer, but all the thoughts and opinions are my own and they've not seen this video before I've released it. Let's jump in. The first thing I noticed is the 10 keyless layout is beautiful. It's nice, compact, but keeps all them essential keys so you're not missing out on all them functions. As for the build quality, it's quite lightweight considering it has that brushed aluminium on the top. But when you do look at the bottom, it is plastic, so that's where your weight is kind of being lost. So it's not a full aluminium keyboard. The wrist rest that is included is a nice touch and it has a nice leather feel to it. But I do like a wrist rest that is slightly softer, but I must say after using it for a while, I have become quite acquainted to it. All the keycaps and knobs do feel premium. It's a double shot PBT keycap, so you're not going to lose all your legends over time. They are high quality keycaps. The knobs and multimedia function buttons are really high quality and they do look great on this keyboard. Just to note, this is a wired only keyboard, so if you're looking for a wireless keyboard, then you're probably going to look at other options, as that's not an option here. I do like what Razer have done with the mode indicators here, so you can see when your caps locks are on, and it also has actuation for them optical switches to see how far you're pressing them. Is it a gimmick for that? Probably, but it is cool. As for the switches, they are optical switches, which means they do give you actuation change to suit your needs. On this keyboard, they range from 0.1mm to 4mm, so you can change that up and set them to profiles to match your need. These aren't to be confused with Hall effects, which do give you that actuation change as well. They are optical, which is more like the standard joysticks on your controllers, minus the stick drift. So let's go into a quick sound test and actually just see how these optical switches sound. So let's talk about the features of this keyboard, because it is stacked, but it's not perfect. Touching on the switches again, they are the Gen 2 Razer switches that they built in-house. They are optical, and like I said, they range from 0.1 to 4mm. So for myself, I use 0.5mm for gaming, then 2mm for when I'm working. Unfortunately, the keyboard isn't hot swappable, so you have to take that into consideration, and I think at this price range, it should be hot swappable, but Razer have said because it's optical switches, it's not quite as simple in layman's terms. So in my eyes, that is a big loss, and it would be nice to have that feature. Hopefully the Gen 3 switches, they kind of iron this out and make it so they are hot swappable, so you can switch between Razer's in-house keyboards at least. Of course, there is rapid trigger and snap tap included, which you already should know. And that's included, so I thought I'd just give that a quick mention. Now for the speed of this keyboard. As you know, it's an 8K keyboard, which means it's super fast, but how overkill or needed is that, we don't know. I personally use between 1K to 4K, and that's more than enough. If I switch to 8K, I really can't tell the difference. So unless you're a hardcore competitive gamer who can feel the difference, then yeah, by all means use that 8K, but remember it is going to use up some of that CPU. Now let's talk about the actual functions, control knobs and multimedia. I must say they feel great, they really do. You can feel every scroll on that, the buttons are quite clicky and they just feel great overall. One thing I do really like is when you press the FN button, it will only light up the function keys on the actual keyboard, meaning you're not going looking through them keys to find what functions what. Of course, you still have to look at what one's what, but it makes it that little bit easier. Like I said, there's 3 multimedia functions, the knob and 2 buttons. This is where I'm quite annoyed, and please Razer fix this, because the knob, you can change the function. The left button, you can change the function to what you want. The middle button cannot be changed, so you are stuck to pause, play, and that really infuriates me, to be honest. So Razer, I don't know if this could be fixed in a firmware update or a software update, but please just let us change that button. The overall build quality of this keyboard is great in my eyes, and for the price you'd really expect it to be. The brushed aluminium top is a nice touch, and there's no like hollow holes where the switches sit, so it does all sit flush, and the RGB is great with that. Like I mentioned, the control knobs, multimedia functions are really good, and the only thing that's really letting this down is the underside of the keyboard, which is a plastic. I'm not sure why Razer put the plastic there, but it would be great at this price range at least to have a full aluminium board. I think it would just add that next level of premium to this board. The double shot PBT keycaps are great. They have like a texture to them, so you can really feel you're not going to get that slip if you're some sweaty gamer. So you do have that grip. Of course, being double shot, they're going to last you a long time as well, and you're not going to get that wear like you would on normal keycaps. Also with that, the RGB, because this kind of mixes together. The RGB, as we know, Razer are one of the best to do it. It's never got too much bleed or not enough brightness, and alright, minus the chroma software, it's great. The chroma software can obviously control this per key for every key across the board, apart from that one function button which annoys me. I think they've got the brightness spot on. There's no bleed, it's not too shallow, the light, and it really does make the premium keyboard just look super clean. So great job with that, Razer. So before I go on to my conclusion, I just want to kind of lay out the pros and the cons, or positives and negatives on this keyboard, because there is a mixed bag, especially for the price, and I don't think the keyboard is for everyone. So first, the positives. It's an 8K keyboard, so it's extremely fast, and you can change that actuation as well to suit your needs. The actual build quality and typing experience is really great, and I think they've done a great job to have that mix between gamer and worker kind of thing. So even though it is a more gaming keyboard, the typing experience is just as good. For this specifically, the TKL. I love a TKL keyboard, and it's nice and compact, not too oversized. You don't get all the buttons that you don't need, and I think that is a positive in this gaming category. The analog switches, they're great. They're not perfect because they're not hot swappable, but they are good. They feel great to type on as well as game on. Really impressed with these analog switches. One last thing with the switches, as well as the stabilizers, is they're massively improved compared to the previous version of this keyboard. So I'm putting that as a positive. They sound much better, they feel much better, and the stabilizers don't give you that whole echoey feel, and there's no rattle to the keys really. Now moving on to the negatives, because let's be honest, no keyboard is perfect, and this is no exception. The first negative is the price, of course. This is a £200 plus keyboard when it's not on sale. For that price, you can get pretty much any Hall Effects keyboard you want on the market, so it's a hefty price tag. The optical switches, although they are great, feel great, there is a downside, which I've mentioned. There is only a wide option to this keyboard. I would love to have seen at least a receiver, a 2.4 receiver, or Bluetooth support on this, just for when you're not gaming and have it plug in. But Razer, I think, is going to work on this. I can't say I hope they work on it, but that's really a downside for me. To customize this keyboard per key or RGB, you need Synapse and Chroma. You can't customize it otherwise out of the box. The wrist rest that's included is a nice touch, giving it a more ergonomic feel, but it is just plastic with like a leatherette feel over it with the Razer logo. I'd have liked something a bit more squishy like Razer has done in the past, but that's personal preference. Something so small but really annoying is that third multimedia button that can't be customized. You just can't change it, and it's really frustrating that there could have been that slight bit more functionality up the top right of your keyboard. It's not hot swappable. I've mentioned it many times, and I would love to see that. So who knows, Razer V5, the Razer Huntsman V5 could be the one it happens. So for the conclusion, should you buy the Razer Huntsman V3 Pro 10 keyless 8K? Well, that is up to you, and I'm not going to force you to buy this keyboard by any means. I now use it as my main keyboard, not because of the price. It genuinely does feel really good, but I think it's aimed more towards your esports gamers. That said, the typing experience when I work using this keyboard is great. The keys feel really good. The overall build quality is actually really good. It's missing them few functions. Like I said, hot swappable would have been nice. Bluetooth or a 2.4 would have been nice, but we move on. Overall, really good keyboard, and I would recommend this despite the price. So if you have that budget, this is definitely going to be a competitor up there with your Wooting. Last but not least, thank you for watching the video. If you've liked what you've seen today, drop us a like, drop us a subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.